Charles just ignores what Harry is doing because he doesn't want to know the reality of quite how low his son, his youngest, has stooped.
If you've got bullying allegations, there's an internal inquiry done by palace officials. If he'd exonerated Meg's and Harry, surely that would come out. That would be a good news story.
Prince William exploded, and can you blame him? Absolutely not. By releasing pictures of Archie and Lily at Althorpe,
it's just so incredibly obvious he's so out of his depth.
Where Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, are winning the day. It's like disastrous court case against the British government, failed. Disastrous court case against the Daily Mail, failed. Commercial failures, like let's do exile.
What happens when one of the most trusted men inside Buckingham Palace suddenly walks away after decades of loyal service? For years, he stood beside the king, helped shape royal strategy, and remained one of the most influential figures behind palace walls.
I will report that the royal family is in crisis, as the king's top aide, Sir Clive Alderton, quits after a very vicious battle behind the scenes about whether Prince Harry and Meghan Markle should have a place going forward in the British royal family.
Then, without warning, he announced he was leaving. Officially, it's being described as a routine retirement. But many royal commentators believe there's far more to the story than a simple career change. According to several reports and royal observers, his departure comes at a time when King Charles is reportedly exploring ways to repair relations with Prince Harry.
So I can tell you what is really going on. This is a man called Sir Clive Alderton, maybe not a household name, but someone who Prince Harry derided in his autobiography Spare as the Wasp. He described him as the Wasp. That was sort of the character he gave to him. Now, he has been King Charles's closest aide for 2 decades. He has quit. He is out. He will be leaving the royal household next year. They're trying to paint this in the mainstream media, Meghan, as, oh, he's 59, he's turning 60 next year. It's time to move on.
At the same time, critics argue that Harry and Meghan's public image has suffered after years of controversy, failed business ventures, and ongoing tensions with the royal family. Coincidence? Or something much bigger? Tonight, we're looking at why this resignation has sparked so much debate, why some royal watchers believe the palace is entering a new chapter, and why many fear Harry and Meghan could once again become one of the monarchy's biggest challenges. Because if these reports are accurate, the future of the royal family may be entering its most unpredictable chapter yet.
That it is absolutely essential that they do have no future role in the British royal family. His deputy, Theo Rycroft, has for some time, as we have reported on this show, been propagating for an alternative route, a reunion, a return to the fold. And King Charles has sided with him because King Charles is weak when it comes to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Behind every king is a team of advisors the public rarely sees. They don't appear on palace balconies. They don't give interviews. They don't chase headlines. Yet these people often influence some of the biggest decisions made inside the monarchy. One of those figures was Sir Clive Alderton. For more than 2 decades, he was considered one of King Charles' closest and most trusted advisors. Long before Charles became king, Alderton had earned a reputation as someone who understood both the institution and the man behind the crown. Whenever major royal decisions were being discussed, his name was rarely far from the conversation. That's why news of his upcoming departure surprised so many royal observers.
Clive Alderton, do you want to know the real reason he's out? Because he was trying to stop Prince Harry and Meghan Markle from returning to the British royal family. And when the king, who unfortunately, and you know, Meghan, I have huge sympathy of King Charles. He is battling terminal cancer, as I have reported. That is a terrible thing. So I understand on a human level, he wants to have a relationship with his youngest son. He wants to have a relationship with his grandchildren. But it's not about that. This is about protecting the British monarchy from 2 individuals in Prince Harry and Meghan Markle who want to tear it down.
The official explanation was simple. After years of public service, he would be stepping down. On the surface, that sounds perfectly reasonable, but critics quickly pointed out something they found unusual. People serving in senior advisory roles often continue well beyond the age Sir Clive is approaching. Many remain active while mentoring successors or overseeing major transitions. That immediately sparked speculation. Was this really an ordinary retirement? Or was there something happening behind palace walls that the public wasn't being told?
He is returning Prince Harry to the royal fold so he can be seen and have a legacy as a great uniter, as someone who puts family first, forgiveness first, blood first. But it's a mistake, okay? Just like it was a mistake when King Charles decided to return Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Sarah Ferguson to the fold. This is a mistake. Briefing to the Sun newspaper that you are offering up Buckingham Palace, the spiritual home of the British monarchy, to the two most hated people connected to the British royal family, and Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, is a mistake.
Several royal commentators believe the timing is impossible to ignore. His departure comes during one of the most sensitive periods of King Charles's reign. The monarchy continues to adapt after Queen Elizabeth II's passing. King Charles is managing his own health challenges. Prince William is taking on an increasingly visible leadership role. And perhaps most importantly, questions about Prince Harry's future relationship with the royal family refuse to disappear.
Oh, Harry's not really a bad guy. He's doing this. He didn't really mean the British royal family was racist. He didn't really make the late Queen Elizabeth's last 2 years on Earth while she was battling with terminal cancer and absolute misery. And I'm sickened by it. But Meghan, it's happening. It's on. 2 developments on this over the past 24 hours. We learned that King Charles has now offered to hand Buckingham Palace to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle anytime they want it when they're in the UK. First visit could be as early as September. They would be the only members of the royal family.
For years, Harry's departure from royal duties seemed final. The Oprah interview, the Netflix series, the publication of Spare. Each event appeared to push the family further apart. Many royal watchers believed there was simply no path back. Yet recent reports suggest conversations about rebuilding some level of communication may still be taking place.
Be the only members of the royal family at all staying in Buckingham Palace, the symbolic heart of the royal family in the United Kingdom. I'm disgusted by that. And King Charles has also invited Harry and the family to spend time with him at Balmoral over summer. The one big, I guess, roadblock in all of this remains Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, who at this point are holding firm, refuse to meet with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle on the most recent visit to the country, are disgusted by the fact that they shared these private images, including at the grave of Princess Diana.
Whether those discussions involve official royal duties or simply family relationships remains unclear. But the speculation has been enough to reignite fierce public debate. Some commentators believe reconciliation would demonstrate compassion and family unity. Others argue it could risk reopening wounds that have never fully healed. That is where Sir Clive Alderton's reported position becomes significant. According to several royal commentators, Alderton was viewed as someone who strongly believed the monarchy should prioritize stability above everything else. From that perspective, maintaining firm boundaries with Harry and Meghan was seen by some observers as essential for protecting the institution's credibility. Whether that characterization is entirely accurate remains the subject of debate. The palace has not publicly framed his departure around disagreements over Prince Harry.
The 30th anniversary of the death of Princess Diana. Yes, it's gross and grim, but this couple are increasingly desperate and they need money. And where is the money going to come from? We know it's from a likely Netflix documentary. I believe it will end up on Netflix, being filmed at the Althorpe estate. And let me be clear, that is not me suggesting that there were big fat camera crews there, because Meghan and Harry are far too smart for that, far too crafty to be accused of that. But the footage is all here. It's all you need. It's all Netflix needed for the documentary. As long as they have enough material on their mobile phones at the Althorpe site, it is very likely that Netflix or another streaming service, potentially, of course it has to be offered to Netflix first, will pay out the big bucks.
Nevertheless, the timing has fueled intense speculation across royal media. And speculation is something the monarchy has never been able to escape. Every resignation becomes a mystery. Every meeting becomes a headline. Every silence becomes another theory. That's exactly what's happening now. Because if one of the king's closest advisors is leaving during such a critical moment, people naturally begin asking whether bigger changes are taking place behind the scenes. And that brings us to an even more controversial question. If some palace figures favored keeping Harry at a distance, who inside the royal household now believes it's time to bring him closer again? That question may explain why so many eyes are suddenly turning toward King Charles himself.
Ignore the conspiracy theorists. This is actually a very personal decision. In today's Daily Mail, Sir Clive has been the king's silky smooth gatekeeper for 20 years and will be missed by many, just not His Majesty's youngest son or Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor for that matter. So this is what the mainstream media are doing. They are trying to suggest that this is all just because he is standing down around his 60th birthday in May. The Establishment Times reported this too. Alderton, who has a remuneration package of around £300,000 a year, has received plaudits for helping smooth the transition of the change in reign. He has helped the king deliver some of his most significant speeches, including his address to Congress on the state visit to the US in April this year, and a landmark speech in Berlin when in 2023 Charles became the first British monarch to address the Bundestag. The palace said that the king and queen were deeply grateful for Clive for his tireless support and wise counsel over the years, and for the enduring loyalty that will ensure a smooth transition to his successor.
For years, the relationship between Prince Harry and the royal family appeared beyond repair. The public watched as one headline followed another. First came the decision to step away from royal duties. Then came the interviews, the documentaries, the memoir, and years of public disagreements that played out on the world's biggest stages. Each new project seemed to widen the distance between Harry and his family. Many royal observers believed there was simply no way back, but recent reports have changed that conversation.
Prince William's reaction to that, he also alleges that King Charles is even shocked. Well, I'm not sure how shocked King Charles is, to be honest, given he's made this offer for Prince Harry to stay at Buckingham Palace. I think these days Charles just ignores what Harry is doing because he doesn't want to know the reality of quite how low his son, his youngest, has stooped. But this is Shooters reporting. Meghan Markle's latest Instagram post has sparked one of the fiercest royal backlashes in recent memory. With insiders telling naughty but nice, the controversy has left Prince William furious and even King Charles stunned. The image shows Prince Harry, Archie and Lily walking towards flowers, with many royal watchers believe it is Princess Diana's final resting place, and all thought that they are heading to.
According to several royal commentators, King Charles is believed to be more open to rebuilding some form of relationship with his youngest son than many expected. Exactly what that relationship could look like remains unclear. Some reports suggest it may simply involve private family contact. Others speculate it could mean Harry being welcomed during visits to the United Kingdom under carefully managed circumstances. That possibility alone has divided royal watchers. Supporters of reconciliation argue that family should always come before past disagreements. They believe a father facing difficult personal circumstances naturally wants peace with his children and grandchildren.
King Charles blasts Harry. Final warning. Last chance saloon. The prince is skating on thin ice. Now Heatworld, who are brilliant for royal exclusives, has spoken to a Buckingham Palace source who have told the magazine that the king wants to see real progress in the relationship rather than, and I quote, another cycle of disagreement and misunderstandings. Now, the insider went on to say King Charles has put his foot down and told Harry they've got to play by his rules, otherwise the door would be shut in the future. The Highgrove Summit, we're told by this insider, was an opportunity that just couldn't be wasted. Harry knows that there has to be a different approach if they're ever going to progress.
From that perspective, rebuilding communication is understandable. But critics see the situation very differently. They argue this is no longer just a family dispute. It's about protecting one of the world's oldest institutions. According to those commentators, trust, once broken, is incredibly difficult to restore. Their concern isn't simply about personal relationships. It's about everything that has happened over the past several years. They point to the highly publicized interviews, the Netflix documentary, the publication of Spare, and numerous public comments that expose deeply personal family matters.
Meghan Markle is worming her way back. And you know, because we've covered the story for a long time, Meghan, she is only doing this because the money has run out. She has no love of this country. She hates us. She told Omid Scobie, that weird little propagandist, she was never going to come back to this country. And it's only because the Netflix money has run out, the Spotify money has run out, they're hated by Hollywood, they don't get invites to the Met Gala or to the Emmy Awards or the Oscars, that they want to worm their way back. And you know I struggle with this as a monarchist and a royalist, but unfortunately, Meghan, I think King Charles is making a huge mistake. And this departure of Sir Clive Alderton, and I repeat, he's not a household name, but this is all about the mechanics of finding a way for Prince Harry to return to the royal fold.
For many critics, those moments crossed a line. They argue that private disagreements became global entertainment, and that has left lasting damage. This is why reports suggesting closer ties between Harry and the palace have triggered such strong reactions. Because to some observers, reconciliation represents compassion. To others, it risks sending the message that years of public criticism can simply be forgotten. That debate has become even more intense following reports that Harry could once again spend time at royal residences during future visits to Britain.
People seem to believe that real reporting means that in some way you are turning on the British royal family. No, I'm doing this real reporting because I think Prince Harry and Meghan Markle pose an existential threat to the British royal family. So let's go through this because there's a lot to cover off, Paula. I believe this is a real crisis. Rebecca English of the Daily Mail just says, ignore the conspiracy theorists. There's nothing in this departure, Paula, that is at all unusual. He's just going because he's turning 60 next year.
While none of these reports confirm any return to official royal duties, they have fueled speculation that communication between both sides may be improving. Whether those reports accurately reflect the king's long-term intentions remains uncertain. The palace has remained largely silent, and silence inside royal circles often creates even more questions. Because whenever the palace says very little, the public starts filling in the blanks. A different reality in California.
Harry's royal return just a few weeks ago was a public relations dumpster fire. So Charles is right to put his foot down. But the question is, will Meghan play ball and support Harry's efforts to behave himself and to rebuild relations with his family? Or will it be a scorched earth policy from the Duchess, who sparked outrage with her Instagram photo drop, effectively bragging about her UK royal return, sharing an incredibly ill-judged photograph of Archie and Lily running around Diana's childhood home of Althorp.
While discussions about reconciliation continue, Harry and Meghan are facing a very different reality across the Atlantic. When they stepped away from royal life, many expected the couple to become one of the most powerful brands in modern entertainment. The opportunities appeared endless. Major media deals, streaming partnerships, book contracts, speaking engagements, global influence. For a time, that prediction seemed accurate, but several royal commentators now argue that the momentum has slowed considerably. Some projects generated enormous attention. Others struggled to maintain public interest.
Charles doesn't really listen to anyone, except with the massive exception of the public when they boo him. He doesn't look at polls. He doesn't look at how unpopular Harry, Meghan, and even he are. He does not care. The only thing he really cares about is when he's doing a walkabout and people come up and boo him and hold up signs as to what they are angry about. Only then has he actually said, okay, let's take action. Look at what happened with Andrew. And also, look at what has happened every time he's been booed. That's the only time he actually makes a change. It does not matter that Clive has told him in the past.
Business ventures have received mixed reactions, and several planned collaborations reportedly never reached the finish line. Critics believe that changing public opinion has become one of the couple's biggest challenges. According to royal observers, many people who initially supported Harry and Meghan were hoping to see them build an entirely new identity outside the monarchy. Instead, critics argue that many of their biggest projects continued to revolve around royal life, the family, the institution, the past. Supporters, however, see it differently.
He's a Prince of England. You should have him. If anyone has to be stuck with him, it should be you. But you're right about the Netflix deal, that she tried to spin that second season of her stupid show as like it was a renewal, and it wasn't. And now, there's not a third season. She tried through, I'm sure, either her agents or Netflix to get herself an Emmy nomination, a daytime Emmy nomination, which she did. Dan, let me tell you something. When I was at NBC, I was hosting that third hour of the Today Show, it did not go well. I got an Emmy nomination for that show. Now, my show actually was good. It just wasn't popular. It's ridiculous. It is a nothing burger. It is meaningless. She, I'm sure, is convinced this is somehow her way back. It isn't. No one cares.
They argue Harry was simply telling his own story and had every right to explain his experiences. That difference in perspective continues to divide audiences around the world. But regardless of which side people support, one fact is difficult to ignore. The royal family remains central to almost every conversation involving Harry and Meghan. Even years after leaving official royal duties, the monarchy continues to dominate the headlines surrounding them. And that's exactly why speculation about reconciliation attracts so much attention. Because if public interest in Harry and Meghan is still closely tied to the royal family, then every meeting, every invitation, and every royal gesture suddenly becomes headline news.
Harry and Meghan never identified the location, but that hasn't stopped an avalanche of criticism. This has upset people who normally defend Meghan. One royal insider tells Naughty But Nice, the backlash isn't just coming from her critics anymore. For many, the issue isn't that the Sussexes may have visited Diana's grave. It's that what appeared to be an intensely private family moment was seemingly shared with the world. Diana's grave has always been treated as a place of quiet reflection, says another palace source. If that's where this photo was taken, many believe it never belonged on social media. Sources say Prince William is devastated but not surprised. William has always been fiercely protective of his mother's memory. He's upset, but sadly he's no longer shocked by anything Harry and Meghan do.
But there is another reason this story has become even more controversial. It isn't just about King Charles. It isn't just about Harry. Many believe the biggest obstacle to any future reconciliation may actually be the next king. And that's where Prince William enters the story. If King Charles is believed to be open to rebuilding communication with Prince Harry, many royal commentators argue that another member of the family remains far less convinced, Prince William.
People who love the British royal family, people who really want to keep the faith in King Charles, because it's quite a fundamental thing, especially for Brits. It's like, we don't want to be treacherous or traitorous, and we want to back our head of state, and we want to believe he's doing the right thing. And so I'm seeing a lot of people sort of insisting online, oh no, of course Charles doesn't want Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to stay at Buckingham Palace. Oh, of course Charles isn't inviting them to Balmoral. And it's like, wake up, he is. So you can either say, we accept that that's his decision as a father, but to just say it's not happening.
For years, royal experts have described the relationship between the two brothers as deeply fractured. What was once seen as one of the strongest sibling bonds inside the royal family has become one of its greatest challenges. The reasons are well known: public interviews, private family conversations becoming global headlines, the release of Spare, years of accusations and counter-accusations. To many observers, trust wasn't just damaged, it was shattered. That's why many commentators believe William's position is very different from his father's. King Charles is often viewed as someone trying to preserve family ties. William, however, is widely seen as someone focused on protecting the future of the monarchy. Those are two very different priorities.
As for Prince William, of course he is disgusted, because this is one of his, how do you put it, Brittany, real sensitive spots. Like, yes, he does ignore Harry day to day. He doesn't want to talk about Harry. He doesn't want to talk about Meghan. He just wants to get on with things. But we know, Brittany, that at the 20th anniversary of Princess Diana's death, and it really is worth mentioning this, he made those documentaries with Harry, which must have been a nightmare for him because their relationship at that point was pretty strained anyway, even though none of that had actually come out in public at that time. But he made 2 documentaries with Harry, one for the BBC, one for ITV. It was on the strict understanding that these were to be the final word on their mother's death.
Several royal commentators argue that William has spent years carefully rebuilding public confidence in the institution alongside Catherine, Princess of Wales. Together, they've become the modern face of the monarchy, whether attending charity events, representing Britain overseas, or connecting with the public during national moments. William and Catherine have consistently received strong approval from many royal watchers. Every appearance reinforces the image of stability. Every engagement strengthens public confidence. And that's exactly why some commentators believe William is unlikely to support anything that could reopen old controversies.
And so I think that he's just trying to manage the crisis. I think that by removing Harry and Meghan's titles, you are taking away a huge burden. And if the king allows Harry and Meghan in any way, shape, or form, William inevitably stripping them of their titles looks like a bigger issue than it would if the royal family continues to maintain the distance that they have now. If they stay out of the loop and out of the, out of the public eye alongside the royal family, then we will be less affected by William stripping them of their titles, because we'll be like, so what? They haven't been royals in a long time.
From that perspective, rebuilding trust would require much more than a few private meetings. It would require years of consistency, years without public disputes, years without confidential family conversations becoming headlines. Whether that is possible remains one of the biggest unanswered questions, because once trust disappears, winning it back is never easy. A monarchy at a crossroads. The royal family now finds itself balancing two very different responsibilities. One is deeply personal, a father hoping to maintain some relationship with his son. The other is institutional, protecting a monarchy that has survived for centuries by placing duty above personal feelings. Finding the balance between those two responsibilities may prove to be one of King Charles's greatest challenges.
He says Clive Alderton's exit, and this is what people don't want to hear, is a huge win for the Bring Back Harry party captained by the king. And this is his reporting, Paula. Tom Sykes writes, the news that Sir Clive Alderton, King Charles's principal private secretary, is standing down from his role after 20 years of royal service is a huge win for the Bring Back Harry party, captained by the king himself, to which Alderton has long been a leading member of the opposition. I've been talking for some time about the rise of the court's chief dove, Theo Rycroft, Alderton's deputy, who is now in pole position. Alderton, of course, was famously nicknamed the Wasp by Harry in his memoir Spare. As the king's principal private secretary, he controls the king's diary and was very much the man in grey suit that Harry had in mind when last year, after details of his supposedly private tea with Charles at Clarence House leaked to the media, Harry's camp came out swimming.
Supporters of reconciliation believe healing is always worth pursuing. Critics argue that history cannot simply be ignored. Both viewpoints continue to shape the debate. But one thing is certain, every royal meeting, every palace announcement, every unexpected development will continue to generate headlines around the world, because Harry and Meghan remain two of the most talked about figures connected to the royal family. Whether admired, criticized, or debated, public interest shows little sign of fading. And until clear answers emerge from Buckingham Palace, speculation is almost certain to continue. So, is this simply the retirement of a longtime royal advisor, or is it the first visible sign of a much bigger shift happening behind palace walls?
The palace said that the king and queen were deeply grateful for Clive for his tireless support and wise counsel over the years, and for the enduring loyalty that will ensure a smooth transition to his successor. Okay then, why is he going? Why is he going? If it's so great and he's been so brilliant, why is he going? At 59 years of age. Some of you understand what's going on. Larissa Bona posting, if Theo Rycroft replaces him, a diehard Timo Royal supporter, oh Lord, it will be better for Prince William to buckle up, because this means that Judas will be fully back. And that's what this is about. Now, the palace is saying there will be a competitive hiring process in terms of the person to replace Clive Alderton, but the smart money is on Theo Rycroft, who is in favour of a full-blown reunion.
Right now, only those inside the royal household know the full picture. But as more reports continue to surface, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The conversation surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle is far from over. Whether reconciliation eventually happens or not, the decisions made over the coming months could shape not only one family's future, but also the future of the British monarchy itself.
These people said that you can't argue. Well, I'm going to give the Sussexes the benefit of the doubt about the bullying allegations because we just don't know. Yeah. What we do know is they get through stuff like you wouldn't believe. And now here we are. Meghan goes on. And by the way, if this is how she allegedly behaves on a show that's not even hers, because I get it, right? Sometimes if you're a star and let's say it's your production and David Letterman's one of my broadcasting heroes. That guy, I'm told, was like the emperor on his show. Decides everything, he's the boss. You look at him the wrong way, you're out. That's fine.
And that's exactly why millions of people around the world will be watching every move. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more in-depth coverage of the biggest royal family stories, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. I'd also love to hear your thoughts. Do you believe Prince Harry and Meghan should ever be welcomed back into the royal family? Or has too much happened for reconciliation to be possible? Share your opinion in the comments below. I read as many of them as I can. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.